Government expenditure is an important component of aggregate demand, and thus government is the representative of goods market. Therefore, effects of fiscal policy goes to goods market and causes shift in IS curve. Here, we shall discuss the effects of expansionary fiscal policy on IS curve. When expansionary fiscal policy is executed, aggregate demand rises, and it causes a rightward shift in IS curve. In figure, there are two panels. The upper panel represents goods market, and the lower panel is for IS space. For a given interest rate R1, aggregate demand is AD1, for which consumption expenditure is C1, investment spending is I1 at R1 interest rate, and government expenditure is G1. Equilibrium in the goods market is achieved at E1, where income level is Y1. Thus, Y1 income level is found for R1 interest rate. In the lower panel, Y1 income level at R1 interest rate is shown by point E1 prime, which is a point on IS curve as it shows combination between interest rate and income level and a representative point of goods market equilibrium E1. Initial IS curve passes through point E1 prime, which is IS1. Thus, at R1 interest rate, investment spending is I1, aggregate demand is AD1 equals C1 plus I1 plus G1. Goods market equilibrium is E1, income level is Y1. Corresponding point of E1 is E1 prime in the lower panel, which is a point on IS curve. Initial IS curve is IS1. Now, if an expansionary fiscal policy is executed by raising government expenditure from G1 to G2, aggregate demand curve will shift upward. New aggregate demand curve will be AD2 equals C1 plus I1 with R1 interest rate plus G2. Equilibrium in the goods market will move to E2 where income level is Y2. Y2 income level is found for the same interest rate R1. In the lower panel, Y2 income level for R1 interest rate is shown by point E2 prime, which is another point of IS curve as it shows the combination between interest rate and income level and a representative point of goods market equilibrium point E2. New IS curve passes through point E2 prime, which is IS2. Thus, when an expansionary fiscal policy is executed by raising government expenditure, aggregate demand curve shifts upward from AD1 to AD2. Equilibrium in the goods market moves from E1 to E2 and income level rises from Y1 to Y2. E2 prime in the lower panel records the same interest rate and income level at E2. Therefore, E2 prime is a point on IS curve. New IS curve is IS2. Therefore, when an expansionary fiscal policy is executed, IS curve shifts to the right. Similarly, a contractionary fiscal policy will cause a shift in aggregate demand curve to downward and IS curve will shift to the left.